Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Search, the US edition. I'm Elliot Manning, the Managing Director of Cayman Recruitment UK and US. Currently recording this from the US itself in New York. I've got Patrick with me, who is one of the co-founders of Coltech, who is a business setup with a presence in the UK, but most importantly in the US. But I'll let you tell the audience a little bit more about it.
Hello, thanks for having me on again.
Pleasure. Nice to have you back.
Yeah, one of the co-founders of Coltech. We are UK based currently, but the business is split between the UK and Europe and US. I run the US side of the business, servicing across the United States, but mainly focused on the Austin region or Austin area, should I say, with the plans to move out in April next year and open the office full time and then expand across the US from there.
So you and I have spoken about the US market for a number of times now, and I've really loved how you've gone about setting up the US in itself for the business. And I guess how's the overall, how's the journey been? You know, what's it been like for you operating stateside as opposed to, having a background UK focused?
It's a bit of a learning curve, definitely, to start off with, because like you say, I've been doing recruitment for 11-ish, 12 years now. I feel old when I say that, but I'm not. So yeah, but it's a lot. Time passes, but yeah, I've been doing the recruitment for 11, 12 years, all UK based. Never even in Europe or anywhere else, all UK. So I was really, really comfortable with that market. Always contract focused as well. Really comfortable, knew the ins and outs of everything, sort of laws, how things work, and everything else. Moving to then decide, well, actually we want to branch to grow the business. Big growth area would be United States. So then looking at the different legalities around how that works, how contract works is slightly different.
Yeah.
Different states have different rules, different taxes. So learning a whole new way of working was a bit of an eye opener. It took a little while to get my head around, but it's sort of building up, and we're doing really, really well. So it's a bit of a steep learning curve to start off with, because you can't expect to, come in, hit the ground, start saying do this, and then sort of build it up and, hit the ground running, so to speak, because there's a lot of research to do behind it. So that was the one thing I found.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the way that you guys have done it, bit different, and hopefully happy for me to share this. You kind of set the business, and from what I remember, a target where the team had to do X or Y for the business before you can kind of utilize that to get your staff out there and really open up the shop physically in the States. And I know that you went back and forth and spoke to me and, and whoever else about kind of getting someone from the US on the ground there. And what stopped you from actually going at it with someone who was based in Austin that can actually build this business for you without sending anyone from the UK?
There's a number of different things. I had loads of different ideas. Like we have spoke about, we had someone in the US on the client site that didn't quite work out, because there's certain ways of working that we like to sort of do. It's not like micromanaged or anything else, but just a mindset and a way of working that I think is really, really important for me. If you're going to work for Coltech or anyone's business, I think it's important for whoever works for them to know that way of working and know the sort of mindsets and expectations. So to pluck someone from Austin and say, "Oh, you're going to start the company for us out there," wasn't really what we was looking to do.
Yeah.
We at the time when we started, there wasn't anyone who was sort of putting their hand up and saying, "I'll start the US business for us." So everyone was focused in the UK. So I started it on my own. And then sort of hired people in with it to say, right, well, look, you're going to help us build this and then go out there. So we set a target to say, right, once we've generated X amount of money, that'll trigger us flying you out and sort of landing and opening the office. But at each stage, there was different sort of things. So, right, once we build this, go out to Austin, meet all the clients. Once we've done this, go again. Once you've done this, your visa application. Once you've done it, and now they're going out there in the last week of January, first week of February, for 2 weeks to sort of set up all their bits and pieces they need to do in terms of getting a house or apartments or whatever. And then with the plan to start fully as of the 1st of April, will be there living and working. So we built it all like, and now we've got like a team of 8 people doing the US market, or each person with their own sort of target. I mean, some people don't want to go out. That's the thing. Like a lot of people think that you have to have boots on the ground, which is obviously we are going to.
Yeah.
But if you've got people in the UK that are happy to work the hours, then why not?
Yeah.
So we've got a few people here that work in the US hours, no intention of moving over because of sort of family commitments or whatever else. And there's a few people like, yeah, I want to. So it's like, well, actually, right, hit this certain, get to figures and then go out there. But the plan is once we're in Austin to grow from like local, so hire Americans or people in Austin or wherever to grow the business. But with that core sort of Coltech, like from the HQ.
Yeah.
To sort
No,
of
I love that. I think it's a great idea.
Down the culture.
Look, a lot of people say to me, how do you get the culture to work in the US? How have you built, not me, but businesses are saying, like, how do we build, a US business that replicates our UK business? And I think the ultimate answer is get them from the UK, built up and experience and to learn, and then just get them out there. But a lot of people do that without, I feel like a lot of recruitment business owners do that, but without doing it how you've done it, with targets in place and making sure that it's got a sustainable model that you can then replicate over there with the people from London in itself in most cases. And yeah, I think it's really important to do that, but not to say to those, obviously, if they're hiring in the US and they want to do it that way, that it still works.
There's loads of different ways to skin a cat, isn't there? Like it's worked particularly for me or for Coltech, shall I say, to do that model, to get people here, build it up, and then pick that team up and put them out there and then grow from that. Other businesses, it might work better to hire someone out there and then build a team around that person. Or they might have, I don't know, they might have someone who's working out there at the moment who they know really well and they can build a business around them. It changed, like it's different. It's horses for courses. I didn't have anyone I knew in Austin or in the US that could do that for me. So it would just be a lot of trust. Not to get someone to work there and I'll be flying backwards and forwards with them. Like, it just didn't, for me, it didn't work. It didn't work for our particular business. Absolutely. Whereas now what we've got for building, hiring the people here, having them work in the company with everyone, like I've got implicit trust that they can go out there and I can leave them. I'll be going backwards and forwards, obviously, but I can trust that they're going to be able to go out there and sort of be the culture architects for us, because they know exactly what the expectations are, because they've been here from day one. So that's worked really, really well.
Good. So a bit of a twist on this. So, your, and I don't want to share your secrets, but your social media is excellent, and I've noticed what you do is that you really hype up your market and your industry with your branding and, kind of utilize social media to get your name about and, do it very, very, very well. So I'm sure it's public, for people to see, but check out the social media that Coltech do is excellent. But you spent so much time going back and forth, conferences, events, meeting clients, and you spent what, 2 years maybe, or a year and a half building out your client base?
Yeah. So, I started focusing fully on Austin probably about September last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 18 months. Well, by the time we got out there, it would be like 20 months or something like that. But I spent the biggest thing for me was, again, learning a new market. I didn't want to sort of just go in maybe with an approach that I would have in the UK, because and I know there's a lot of people trying to go out into the US. I want to try and change it up a little bit and do a lot more of this like community or socially led approach, basically embed myself within, or embed Coltech within the community. So focus on a particular area, particular skill sets. And no, there's loads of companies do it really well. Signify have done that really well with Scala, and that's the first one that comes to mind, basically. But to really embed ourselves in the community so that people know us and have got an idea of who we are. So when we do contact them, it's not out of the blue. So that's worked really, really well for us, and it's built some really. What I've found in the US as well, more so than the UK, is and you've probably heard this all the time, it's not as a transactional sort of necessary evil to use a recruiter. It's a lot of it is based on long-term like relationship building and people liking you and trusting you. And not that that's not the case in the UK, but it's very much so in the US, that like you have to have sort of it's a real partnership, or it's seen as a service rather than a necessary evil. So my approach was to make ourselves, position ourselves as a subject matter expert in the market. So hosting events, running roundtables, doing podcasts like this, getting information out on the socials, like on LinkedIn and everything else about things that we're doing, projects that we've done, clients that we've helped. And that has, that's been really fruitful for us. It's where the majority of our work has come from.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's clearly obvious, how you do it. It works. And there's another couple of businesses. There's like a company called Harrington Starr in the fintech space. They've got a fintech magazine. They really embed themselves in the market. They put themselves so much out there that they're not only known as a recruitment firm, but they're also a knowledge in the industry, which is also more effective. And the US is not about pick up the job, place it, be done with, move on, which we're so used to and can be used to. US is, you're right. He's got that long-term partnership. Can you be an expert in your field? How much can you get your name in front of them? And they like that a lot. So yeah, look, I mean, fair play to you. And if anyone wants to check it out, or I'm sure ask you any questions, feel free to do so with Patrick.
Yeah, of course.
Where did the Austin market come from, mate? Like, why did you go there as opposed to, New York, Miami, LA? Like, where did Austin come out of the picture on this?
If I'd chose LA, it'd probably been a lot easier to get my wife to want to move out there. So, but it's the time difference, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to work West Coast hours from the UK. It's 8 hours difference.
Yeah.
Austin's obviously a bit of it, like, is a tech hub in the US, growing market, decent for tax. There's other businesses have gone out there and proven that it works. And I've been there a few times myself and just liked it. So I thought, if I'm going to go somewhere, it's like, I wish I could say I've done loads and loads of research and I've been to Austin quite a few times, like a couple of times myself, and I liked it. There's other companies that I know of that have gone out there and done well, and the taxes are decent, and there's a lot of tech business startups. So it just ticks a lot of boxes for me. Because if I'm going to be going backwards and forwards, or going to attract people to move somewhere, then I want to go somewhere where it's a good lifestyle. New York, I know, like, tax wise, it's really expensive. It's an expensive place to be. Miami didn't really, it wasn't even really an option for me. I didn't really think of it.
It wasn't big 2 years ago. Miami wasn't the go-to as much as Austin. You got in there as soon as it started becoming a thing.
Yeah, so it's becoming, like, Miami's becoming bigger now. A lot of companies are going out there, and that might be somewhere like Florida as a state. We might be like, look, that might be our next place. North Carolina, for instance, is growing. Like, there's lots of different places that are up and coming, but Austin just seemed like the right place, and also it's central, so you can get to wherever you need to get to pretty quickly. And if you want to work the West Coast market, the type, like, from there, it's not too bad. It just, it seems like a nice place, and overall, I really like barbecue food. So
it's a good place to be. Why not? Why not? I've never been anywhere other than New York, to be honest with you, and Philadelphia. I've always stuck on this side of the US, and I hear about Austin and LA, North Carolina, Florida, all these, hyped up states where everyone's trying to get themselves over to. And Austin's like, I feel like Austin's nearly done. That everyone that's there is now there, and no one else, because there's no room for anyone else. I feel like, so they're all going into Miami.
Yeah, it's picked, like, look, it's been a grand market. Like, there's been businesses that have been out there for years, like Rock Search, and I've been out there for a long time, and have done really, really well. There's a number of other companies that have done really well out there. It's just, when we started, that was a place we could go, and I think it's, as I say, it's a decent hub, but that won't be like the one and only office that we have. Like, we'll be growing out across the United States. Like, the plan is to go, like, to really, really accelerate it, to push it on, because now we've got the base from the UK. And we've built up. It's not like we're going out there and starting from ground zero. We've got a really, really decent like, client book, really good contractor book now. So it would be quite an easy transition to go out. Whereas if we would have just said, right, let's go, it makes it, like, a lot harder, because you're sort of dealing with lots of different things, like, spinning lots of different plates at the same time. Whereas we've got the base here. We'll go to Austin, and then the plan is to expand throughout the US from there.
Yeah, look, I mean, that was my next question to finish up on is, what's the, the near future looking like for you guys, other than obviously the physical presence over there? Where do you see the business going? What's the plan? what do you, anyone listening to this, what do you want to see from potential recruiters that join the business?
Yeah. So for us, for me personally, and for the business, is to continue to grow as we have. We've done reasonably well so far. As I say, we've got a really, really good base now. But yeah, I just want to continue to grow multiple locations across the US. Do I have a number? Like if someone was to ask me what the plan is, it's really simple, just to double every year. That's it. 100% growth every year. So if we're at 8 this year for the US, at least, I mean, we'll probably do 6. Just say we'd like to be like 30 people by the end of next year, and 60, whatever it needs to be. Just want to double the headcount, double the revenue and the profit every year. That's where we want to go. And then different locations. And when that will just sort of become slightly organic. Wherever clients are, wherever it's good to be as a business, we'll sort of look at it at each stage. In terms of people looking at what like Coltech or the type of people, if they was interested in having a conversation with us about joining, very much about sort of growth mindset, people that are determined to succeed. Obviously, that's just what everyone would say. But people who are like, right, they know where they are and they've got a vision or a goal of some type. Like the people who've done really well for us, there's a couple of them come from you, but they're like, right, I'm here and I know that my target is to get to Austin. Then from there, I want to get to LA, or I want to build a team. I want to do, and they've got an actual plan or a structure. It's not like they sort of walked in, I'm going to do recruitment because I can't really do anything else.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's really about people that are goal orientated and always looking forward. That's the most important thing for me. All the other bits and pieces like skills, and you can teach that really.
Yeah.
But the actual aptitude of wanting to improve and, as I say, being focused on a goal and trying to better yourself and grow is really, really important to me.
Brilliant. Look, mate, I mean, I want to wrap this up, in terms of, thank you for joining me on the podcast in itself again. I know I've had you on this previously, but what you've done is not something
it's popular. It's public demand, I heard. There's so many messages.
I know, I couldn't stop. I mean, I've had to chase you down. It's a busy guy. Look, you've got a great business and a model that I think a lot of businesses should, look at, not necessarily replicate, but take note. A lot of people rush to get over there within 6 months, and they're all doing it in a very different manner to what you've done it in, but you're going to go out there and continue to be successful because you've been operating the space. So you know how it all works.
One thing I would say that we've done as well is set up the entity. Although we was from here, we set up an American entity straight away.
Yeah. So
all of our money has been paid into an American bank account. It's been all our contracts are US-based contracts for the US company. We've got like a tax person out there. So although we're here, for all intents and purposes, it's an American business, but we've been doing it from here.
Yeah, and it's doable.
And when we go, it's straight, like it is just, as I say, it makes the transition much, much easier. And also, if you've got, I won't ramble on because I know that we ain't got much time, but with the, if you're picking up people from here and then saying, right, you're going to go and move halfway across the world or whatever else, there's so much stuff that needs to be done in terms of like life admin.
Yeah.
The people are moving away from their families, they're moving away from their friends. Invariably, they're not going to go into, unless you've already got an established office there, they're going to be starting on their own and working in a WeWork or somewhere, just 2 people or 3 people rather than being in office for the 20. So there's a huge amount of change. So to do that without already have been a big sort of book or client base will be a massive challenge. Whereas if you've been doing it
at a time,
if you've been doing everything from here, moving over there and saying, right, well, now like going with now, as I say, I mentioned earlier, we're going backwards and forwards. The team sort of go there this time, right? We're gonna pick an office. So we've got that sorted. Come back, go there next time, we're gonna get apartments and everything sorted. Come back then in April when they go there, everything they need is already done.
Yeah.
And they've already got their clients and their contract book and everything else behind them. So they're not starting from a completely fresh.
Yeah.
So it makes that transition much, much easier than trying to jump in and do everything all at once.
No, it does, and you've clearly you're proving that in itself right now. So that's why I think the model is excellent. There's so many elements to building a US stateside business, and it's not necessarily just building the clients; it's the whole infrastructure and the foundation that you've already built that allows you to do the other bits as another phase that allows it to be a lot easier. So no, I totally get that, mate. And you know, again, for those listening in on this, you know, take note. You know, see what's what. You can do it from here very successfully. You can set up your entity, build, you know, your clients into a US bank account. You can work with people, and I'll drop the name in PGC for your contractors and for anything payroll US. Like, it's all easily doable and done. But look, Patrick, mate, I really appreciate your time again. Thank you very, very much. And as always, you know, I wish you the best of success with it. And I know it's already there, but with the growth of Coltech in the US.
Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate you having me on again. And yeah, if anyone is looking to move over to the US, then it's your man with iGlide. They'll help you out massively.
There you go. Thank you very much, mate. Have a good night.
You didn't even ask me to do that either.
No, I didn't. I appreciate that. I love it. It's
No, thanks very much for having me.
Pleasure.
Cheers, mate.